Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at lesson 70, which is on volume, and hopefully this is review for most of you, but volume is the word used to describe the space occupied by a shape, and to measure volume we use units that occupy space. So I like to remember that things that have volume, if they were watertight, we could pour water inside and it would hold the water. So for example, the length and width of a piece of paper does not hold water. But if we add a depth to it and make it a three-dimensional shape, it could. So those structures have volume, okay? And so our first example, we use the formula volume equals length times width times height. And you'll notice that the structure on the paper is a 3 by 4 by 3. And so we just multiply those together and we start by writing out our formula. So this is another series where we have to use the formula. And then we multiply them together and we talk about units. So we say it's 36 units cubed. And if I were to really be on top of it, I would show you that this right here is units squared. Okay, and units, because remember that when we multiply the units, we actually get units squared and units cubed. Okay, so then the next example, actually it's just some information. Volume is measured by using cubes of a standard size. A cube whose edges are 1 centimeter long has a volume of 1 cubic centimeter, and we write that as 1 centimeter cubed. Okay, so there's the example. If it was inches, we'd say 1 inch cubed. If it's feet, we say 1 foot cubed. Meters, 1 meter cubed, and so forth. Okay, so our example 2, it says find the number of 1 inch cubes that can be placed inside a rectangular box with the dimensions shown. So it's trying to imagine how many little blocks could you stack in there if you were playing blocks. So we start with the formula, volume equals length times width times height, and we plug in the numbers, and we don't forget to write the units. This is really important at this point in our math education, because the first time, if we follow order of operations, we are multiplying, so we work from left to right. So we do the 5 times 4, and that gives us not just a 20, but centimeters cubed, or squared, excuse me, times centimeters. And so that's how we come to centimeters cubed. And so I have a little note over here. Remember, units are multiplied too. So centimeter times centimeter is centimeter squared. A centimeter squared times centimeter is centimeter cubed. Okay, so here we go again. Example 3. We have this structure right here. Okay, we start with length, width, height. We plug in our numbers, and we remember to work left to right, so we get 16 inches squared times 4 inches, and we're remembering our labels, we get 64 inches cubed. Okay, so we refer to the dimension of a rectangular prism, like a shoebox, as length, width, and height. Okay, so the formula, we've already used it, is volume equals length times width times height. Okay, so here's an interesting one. We look at this structure, and I know some of you, this can be a challenge to think about them, but it'd be like building blocks. So if I broke the structure apart, if I had Legos and I broke them apart, I would have one long block and a second smaller one. And then I just have to figure out kind of process of elimination of what the sides are. So if I think about it, for example, if this is 4, and I know, so from about right here to here is 4, and this whole thing is 8, that tells me from here to here is also 4, which I can say, there it is, that's 4. And I can do the same anywhere. I can assume that if this is 4, then this also is 4, okay? So I can break the structure apart. You don't need to necessarily on your math notes, but it is a good thing if you're having trouble visualizing. Okay, so this is a 2-step problem. The first block has a volume of 8 times 4 times 4. which gives me 32 centimeters squared times 4 centimeters, and it's 128 centimeters cubed. Okay, and then the second block, which was the smaller one, does the same thing, length, width, height, 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 4. We have centimeters cubed times centimeters, and we have that. But the question says find the volume of this solid, which is the whole structure. So then we need to take our two numbers and add them together. Okay, so easy math. We do 128 centimeters cubed plus 64 centimeters cubed gives us 192 centimeters cubed. So homework is actually, I'm going to cancel the written practice for this weekend, for this evening. And I'm going to ask you to find one rectangular prism at home. Okay, and you're going to label the length, width, and height. And you're going to put tape or post it on its sides. You're going to write the measurement. So you need a ruler. You can do centimeters or inches. Centimeters might give you closer to round numbers. And then you're going to work it out on a piece of paper and set the structure near the paper and take a picture. And I will attach a sample to this notes site. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions.